Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena I'm playing a Rakdos Aristocrats, if you want to call it that, based on an old deck style where, you know, Falconwrath Aristocrat sacrifices things to stuff. That's why it's called that. I always get that question when I use the term Aristocrats. Basically, Aristocrats is referring to an archetype built around Falconwrath Aristocrat that won a Pro Tour. The idea was to play black and red, and sometimes white. It's Mardu as well. That version was Mardu. But you play little creatures and you sacrifice them for good personal effect. This deck can be called Aristocrats because it has multiple ways to sacrifice things in Priest of the Forgotten Gods, Heartfire, and the tokens that Chandra makes sacrifice themselves. And also, it has Mayhem Devil to take advantage of things being sacrificed and deal 1 damage to any target. And it has God Eternal Bantu to sacrifice things and draw a bunch of cards. Yes. Then we also have Judith, the Scourge Diva. This is the only different card that I've thrown in the list. Judith has underperformed since being revealed for Ravnica and being a very hyped card in the set, but the card just hasn't held up its end, and in this deck, it's no different. It's only good when you have a wide board, and when you're sacrificing a chunk of your board, not particularly great, but I can't call it a Judith Priest deck if I don't leave one around. This deck, something very, very close to it. I think like Judith wasn't in the deck, but something very close to this deck just won the Twitch Rivals tournament that was held yesterday in the hands of Jeff Hoogland. So I expect you'll see this deck everywhere, and we should go out and play with it and talk about how it works and how it wins. One way that it wins a lot is if the format isn't very good at removing Priest of the Forgotten Gods. If this comes down on turn 2 and the opponent has no answer, their deck just gets slashed and bashed, especially with Mayhem Devil. It's so gross. And Chandra Acolyte of Flame, what a combo with Priest of the Forgotten Gods. If you get to do that, you are doing it. Heartfire, pretty good card in the new meta, I'd say. There's plenty of creatures you don't mind sacrificing. Here we have Grim Initiate, Footlight Fiend, Dreadhorde Butcher, often is sacrifice fodder. You love to see this growing and growing, but usually it gets stopped at some point in this meta. But then you can sack it to Heartfire and deal a whole bunch of face damage. Also, the 1/1s from Chandra Acolyte of Flame, those are good Heartfire fodder too. So, we're going to go play this deck, size it up, see how it does, see if it is indeed the bee's knees, the kitten's pajamas, all that jazz, and a bag of chips. And let's go. Okay, looking at the hand, we got nothing early. Like nothing. Nothing on turn 2. Except a Heartfire we can't cast, and 2 lands, and a bunch of 3-drops. I think that's going to be too weak on the draw. Okay, I'm going to put back one of these swamps and have a hand. I was thinking about whether or not to put back the caves because they enter the battlefield tapped, but we do need double red if we draw Chandra. Speaking of Chandra, somebody's flexing. Got their shiny sleeves on. Me, sporting that free. Sporting them free sleeves. For the people. Here's my knight. Here's Thought Erasure for my Dreadhorde Butcher. And without perfect top decks, the game is over. Oh, okay. I'll take that. Not a Thought Erasure. Ooh. Well, if our opponent has the card Legion's End, I'm going to be suffering greatly. But if they don't, these butchers might help keep the pressure on long enough for us to get something going. Ooh. Alright, let's do it again. Now, do I just want to run out the Footlight Fiend when there's a potential Ritual of Soot coming? No, we can slow roll this one Footlight Fiend. I know that's not like a ton of pressure if they all die, but it's something that we can sacrifice to Bantu, and it's Kefnet. Kefnet's the play. Oh, hello, Priest. So if the opponent blocks here, they take 1, 2, down to 11, and then 4, down to 7. And then next turn, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it has the potential to just win. We do have to watch out for a few very specific things. Enter the God Eternals. Our opponent doesn't have another black for Ritual of Soot. I think that the plan is to swing with all. And then hope to untap with this Priest and this Footlight Fiend, which might be asking a bit too much off 4 cards. But we're going to go for it. Play bold. That's the way it's going to be. Going upstairs. Might have made a big difference if I'd have played out my Footlight Fiend if I hadn't been a coward last turn. Might have made a big difference here. An extra point of damage. It starts to stack up. Scoop. Our opponent with no way to deal with the Priest. What kind of Grixis deck are you? Killing things should be in their nature. We have an Initiate and Footlight Fiend, which is not exactly the height of early pressure, and then maybe a Bantu will save us later in the game. Alright, let's play our Initiate. Let's go initiate something. Temple of Epiphany, flavor of the day. Scry to the bottom. Alright. Let's go ahead and shock our darn self. Bring out the Knight. We're going to need to top deck an untapped land to make this Knight work. And, yeah, it might even be a case where I need to shock the opponent just to make sure they lose 4 so that the Knight grows. Although, now we see Jeskai. That's deafening Clarion mana. I guess make them have it. It's going to be very sad when they have this Clarion. We have a Dovin's Veto. Do they want to play it? A Quench. Okay. Is it a Clarion? Is also like some of the colors of their deck. It's kind of... Alright. Well, I still get this 1/1. I still get an extra point in. I get this life right here. How could I complain? A Mayhem Devil who's late to the party. Those tapped lands taking its toll on this aggressive deck. It's very sad. Very, very sad. Second Clarion feels good. Third tap land. We only have 4 in the deck. We drew 3 of them. It screwed up our curve starting on turn 2. If I had known I was going to draw 3 tap lands out of the 4 in my deck, I would have played one earlier to get that out of the way, but alas. The choice was not mine to make. So let's get Bantu down. It dodges that Justice Strike. Ouch. Well, this game is gonna fall apart. That's enough of that. The tap lands suck. Don't ever let people tell you they're fine. Well, this is a hand I can get behind. No 1-drop. Yeah, we still have a top deck to maybe get there. Stomping Grounds. Heartfire off the top. Alright. Opponent will open with a Barkhide Troll. That's strong. Let's deploy our Priest and see if the opponent brought removal for it. My turn 2 Priest has been killed every time so far. And today will be no different. On the bright side, I think I'm going to get to snipe this Domri with the Butcher. Alright, this turn looks like a Footlight Fiend and a Butcher. So let's do it. Sequencing isn't particularly important because our opponent has no mana up, so I can just throw the cards on the table and go. Get out of here, Domri. I have important things to do. Rugged Highland doing what now? Second Domri. Alright. I think the opponent's going to let the shields down, though, which opens up the Heartfire. Yeah, I was thinking about other things like playing Mayhem Devil, but it's gotta be Grim Initiate. If we sack the Footlight Fiend... Oh, this is on 4. Never mind. How do we kill it, then? I guess I can Heartfire... I can Heartfire the Domri. But if I leave it on 1, I just need to do 1 damage to it in the future, which I think I can find a way to do. If I kill the troll, it's a pretty good turn for me. Getting close to making Mon-Thurs do work. If we set you down low enough, then I should be able to take you out in the near future, and we get to keep growing the Butcher. We don't want Domri to be able to fight. That's the thing, that when Domri fights, oftentimes you lose. So does the opponent have a big monster? That's not a very big monster. It's a Whittle Paradise Druid. What else you got? Okay, it's not a Whittle Paradise Druid no more. Holy crap. Oh, we're fighting? Wow. Well, Footlight Fiend can take out Vivian no matter what, so I guess we'll take Domri down. It's a lot of fear from the opponent. If I attack, they won't want to trade. Not even a little. And then Bantu can come down and draw me some cards, or we can set up the Mayhem Devil Bantu, which is extra spicy. Good night, Vivian. And here's the Mayhem Devil, setting up for a super sweet Bantu next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage to face is an option. But I think we'll just wipe out our opponent's board here, as their Legion Warboss is a little late to the party. Knight of the Ebon. No, don't want to sacrifice you. Any attacks first? No, I don't think so. The opponent might be crazy enough to double block the Mayhem Devil. Here's Bantu. 1 permanent, 2 permanent, 3 permanent. Scoop. Yeah, got him. Bantu Mayhem Devil. The glory. We battle Luna the Cat. This hand is weird, but I think we keep it. I hope to draw Priest. A card, quite honestly, I just don't draw. I've drawn it once, it died. That was my experience with Priest of the Forgotten Gods today. Just don't draw that card. Alright, black and white. Hero of Precinct 1, huh? Well, let's see if the opponent wants to block. My plan is to sacrifice the Heartfire to kill the hero. Don't want my opponent to get all these low 1/1s. Now maybe that's a little bit too conservative and control-y. Maybe some of you would like me to make some 1/1s. But I tend to kill the things that get in my way. Okay. Interesting call by the Kaya to go to 2 loyalty. We could send out the Butcher, but Chandra just sniping this Kaya is too sweet. Planeswalker on Planeswalker violence. Our opponent showing us an Abzan hero list. A high diamond Abzan hero list. I'm going to be paying attention to the cards that come out of this. I've been goofing around with some Abzan ideas myself, especially once we get the new cards from Throne of Eldraine. Abzan plus food. Bond of Flourishing. Is this a Citadel deck? Could be. And we see grabbing Tulsamir, the Friend to Wolves, which, that's a scary one. You don't want Tolsimir to come out here, make a 3-3, and fight down your Dreadhorde Butcher. So even though the coast looks really clear, I don't know if I want to do that. I could put out the Grim Initiate and leave up the Heartfire. Yeah. It's one of those sequencing things that just doesn't feel right, but I think I go for it. Also, let's get grindy. We have multiple Heartfires, we have Grim Initiates. We don't need the 2 damage here. And we don't need the sacrifice triggers. So let's start plussing our Chandra. Let's play the Grim Initiate. At this point, we are choosing a control-ish role, a grindy role for the matchup. And I'm curious if it's going to pay off. Bear with me. The opponent just kills the Chandra with some kind of spell. That's heartbreaking. And yeah, but they're going to lose their Vraska. Okay, looks like they're also missing their land drop for Tolsimir potentially. Alright. Butcher. Get on over there. Still have the mana open to fight the Tolsimir if I need to. And we'll start ticking the Butcher up. Try to get some pressure on the opponent. Another hero. It's kind of gross. Don't Heartfire that. Bantu. Bantu strong. It can wait for a moment though, right? Let's put out the other Butcher and see if the opponent wants to block it with their hero. If they do, it trades with the hero. So the opponent chooses to trade with the larger Butcher, which does 2 to their face. Keep it coming. Opponent's looking for that land drop. They throw a Sorin on the table. Okay, hero's coming back. So now I'm going for it. Forget Tolsimir. I think what we're going to do is turn out the Bantu. And the Dreadhorde Butcher on 3 will clean up both. There's Mayhem Devil. Actually, that's really good if our opponent misses their land drop for 1 more turn. It's all that extra damage. And if they don't, if they just put out the Tolsimir, I guess it's not a huge loss. That's tough, though. Yeah, I'm going to put out my opponent to top deck an untapped land. Make them have it. They haven't been able to do it for a while here. What you got? Besides, they might even go after the Butcher. Nope. They've got the Scoops of Sadness. They can't believe they couldn't draw land drop 5. Ah, I know that feeling. Well, turn 2 Priest. On the draw. Can't have it all always. I'm just greedy. We want it all always, Mom. So with this hand, I'm thinking that I lead with the Grim Initiate because Footlight Fiend can be played off either color or mana. It also does a number on holding off a Gutter Bones, so why not? So is our opponent also on Aristocrats? Are they on some kind of mono black? What's going on? Yep, they is on that deck. Oh my. I think I just kill you. The opponent can point that Dreadhorde Butcher damage at my initiate if they want, but it still comes back. That's a pretty good turn for me. Pretty good trade. Make them have the answer? Make them have the answer. What you got? If they kill the priest before combat, I'd consider blocking with my army tokens, so we'll say goodbye. The tilt machine. Oh my goodness. He just can't bear it. He can't bear it. Weird hand. This hand can be great or terrible depending on whether or not shock is actually relevant in the matchup, which we just don't know. All we have to go on is no sleeves and a Chandra face. Let's give it a try. Maybe we'll learn something today. Black mana. Do I want to play the Footlight Fiend on 1 and the Devil on 2? Or the Butcher on 2 and possibly miss a Devil on 3? On the draw, how much does that matter? Could matter a lot. However, I have an aggressive nature. Let's use it. There was also something to be said for just leaving up a shock, playing to remove a blocker so that the Butcher couldn't trade with anything. Alright, we'll drop off 1 shock. Blood Crypt. Let's send the Fiend. Well, the opponent may play another rat. Maybe I should just play the tap land, say go, and hold up the shock. If the opponent blocks here... Well, we don't want to give up fodder in case of a Plague Crafter, so let's just go with no attacks. Let's play the caves and say go. And see what our opponent does. It might be a case where we can clear a way for the Butcher with the shock. And it looks like that could be the case. Here's the banner. So we know this black deck. I put out a video about it not that long ago. It was a very popular video. Going by the amount of views on the video, y'all really enjoyed it. So we definitely take the rat out because a Cavalier of Night is a big problem, and we don't want it sacrificing the rat to draw a card, to kill one of our creatures. Sorry, not to draw cards. But we will be very far behind if that is what hits the battlefield here. Fenlurker. Okay. Out of there. It does suck that this gets the extra boost from the banner because it makes it really hard for our Butcher to get through. And an Order of the Midnight returning the rat. Alright. Ooh. Well, I think we just have to get in there. We hold this Blood Crypt to discard to the rat. And then this just trades with the rat next turn. It's so bad. If I put out a larger creature, maybe it's a better attack. And maybe we slow roll the Butcher and make the opponent have something on the field, but it seems bad. It seems so bad. Let's see what happens if we send this Fiend. The opponent may want to take the trade just to have it in the graveyard, but no. Here's the Devil. Something that might be able to attack through the rats next turn, depending what I draw. And this to discard to the Ravenous Rat when it is again replayed. But now we're in an ugly spot. This is where the Cavalier of Night would be vicious if they have the land. Of course. Order of the Midnight can't block. That's the only thing going well right now. That's good. Let's see if the opponent has an answer to this. They definitely don't want to block this Fiend. The Fiend trades for too much stuff. I mean, maybe they're thinking about it because of the Priest, but pretty sure that they'll take this damage. They found land number 5, right on time for a Cavalier of Night. Oh, or that. So that's 1. This will be a 0 when it eventually dies, so we can't take out the Massacre Girl. So as you see, Dreadhorde doing 0 because its power and toughness was reduced by -1/-1. So even though it had +1/+1 counters, those didn't matter anymore. Now we need a Bantu, so we have to start playing out our lands. Bantu's like the only way to get back in the game. I do expect the matchup with this deck to be very hard. We're kind of a mid-range deck leaning aggressive. Yeah, they missed a point of damage. We're a mid-range deck leaning aggressive, and this is a mid-range deck leaning control. They will always be favored in a matchup. That's unfortunate. I guess we can't kill the Massacre Girl. Massacre Girl certainly kills you, but holding you in the hand dies to Davriel.
No. Too bad.
So I guess we'll just kill the Dav.
Don't worry, I brought company.
Time to run, Ken.
What do we need? A creature into a Heartfire, I guess? Now we just need a miracle.
My army will
Yeah,
this bridge.
laugh at me. Getting obliterated by my own creation. Alright, let's go. Let's get out. Run to the hills. Initiate priest. Let's see if we get to activate a priest on this priest video. Still hasn't happened. Have not activated a priest a single time. The opponent has either scooped at the very possibility of it, or every priest has died or been buried in the deck. So I feel like there's a job undone. I feel like there's a mission to complete. I feel like there's a quest. Land is very welcome there. Get him. Priest is ready. What you got? Nothing. Okay. Got a counterspell? No. Alright. Here comes my Grim Initiate. Let's not send the priest into potential Grindborn trade. Especially now that the combo is basically assembled. Here's a Cutthroat. Alright. Fine with me. Don't need to activate now. Let's see what we draw. Perfect. We could throw an Initiate and a Mayhem Devil at the opponent when they try to make a play. We could use our sacrifice effects. Seems good. Besides, they might play right into something. We'll give it a shot. Now, one card that you might not be thinking of, but I am because I tested it, is called Tail's End, which can counter an activated or triggered ability. And countering a priest would be pretty nasty, but it wouldn't stop the Mayhem Devil. See, this is good. So, we let this enter the battlefield. We sacrifice our Initiates. We kill the smaller one, and they sacrifice the bigger one. So this is all fine. And the way that its stack works is you can kill the smaller thing, then eliminate the bigger thing with the Mayhem Devil before the Priest of the Forgotten Gods trigger resolve. So you kill off their small stuff, you leave the biggest thing to be sacrificed. It's nasty. It's the feel bads. Alright. Unfortunately, I don't have a use for all that mana quite yet, but maybe we'll find one. I did draw another Grim Initiate to keep the sickness happening. The opponent says go. So I could probably draw a counter with a second priest. I sort of want the Grim Initiate more, though. The other thing that could happen here is Frilled Mystic. So let's get this countered by the Frilled Mystic, and then we'll play the Initiate, make the opponent sacrifice the Mystic. If we draw a red, we can play a second Mayhem Devil for the ultimate wows. There it is. Yep, you get to counter that. Hello? Did I hit end turn? Why did my turn end? Did I hit that button? I certainly didn't plan to. Well, that's something. Let's see if the opponent uses a counter here on this Initiate. We just wanted to give our opponent a chance to get back in the game, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. All right. Or maybe we say go, because we're at Nightpack Ambusher levels of oops here. Well, we can attack with this. If the opponent blocks, then I'm in a perfectly fine spot. I can always sack the Mayhem Devil. I have an army. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're getting into that burn range. Okay, we got another Cutthroat hitting the battlefield. So let's do the thing. Submit. You. Submit. 2 things sacrificed. So trigger from the devil, take out you. We could put another one on here just to be sure. The opponent has untapped mana. They may be able to flash out another thing or take some other action to pump this. Possibly bouncing their Mystic. Maybe that's just being a little too conservative though. And we want to be sure. Double tap. Always be sure. Alright, let's get a Footlight Fiend down. Opponent, if you'd like to Sinister Sabotage this, that is fine with me. Quench, sure, gotta get that quench value. Gotta be quenchable. Okie dokes. Our opponent at 8. What of this damage can they actually take? Not much, right? And I could actually sacrifice a load of permanents to bond to finish this, but counter spells, can't be sure. Still bottlenecked on 1 red is a bit of a pain. Let's go for the Butcher. See how the opponent reacts. Frilled Mystic City. Alright, let's run the priest game. Sacrifice both of you. Go face. I'm hoping to draw a mountain or a way to use this mana. It is a little bit risky because we get our opponent down to 4 where the Heartfire could be lethal. But... the opponent's thinking about a bounce spell here. If they bounce the priest, we just replay it because we make mana with the priest ability. So that would be a bad play. Okay, Spectral Sailor, which they can sacrifice here to keep their Frilled Mystic. Do we draw the red source? No. I was just hoping to draw a red source there for Heartfire. Figured we were due for one. However, Knight of the Ebon Legion, certainly a strong boy in this spot. And Simic Flash facing Doom itself. Alright, well, just waiting for the opponent to tap out so we can Heartfire them into Oblivion. There might still be an Unsummon. The opponent thought a lot about their play last turn. Okay, take your damage. Here's the Unsummon. Let's go for your face. Is there still a counter? No. We've exhausted the counter magic. Hearts on fire, strong desire rages deep within. Yeah, stuff, things. Let's go. Let's get them. Do I play the Fiend first or the Ebon Legion first? It all depends what the opponent's running, right? I mean, they're not going to just shock a Footlight Fiend anyway, so we may as well lead on our Knight. I don't think we'll need a turn 2 Heartfire. Hey, a Scorch Spitter. Sweet draw. Slam-a-bam. we're going to put the aggro disposition of the red deck to the test here. We're going to have a pretty sweet, juicy on the play curve. Second Spitter. Come at me, bro. I guess the opponent needs to light that stage really badly. Like, really badly. I hate turn 2 light up the stage. I don't know about you guys. Oh, okay. I guess throwing a skewer. I can respect that a bit more. Anyway. Let's get him. If you want to block the Fiend, that's fine with me. Plenty of face damage to go around. They'll still grow the Knight of the Ebon Legion. Cavalcade with no board. That's about how it goes when I play the red deck. All right. Let's go ahead and unleash the priest. Let's have the Heartfire available. If the opponent throws a removal spell at one of my creatures, I'll throw it at the face too. And the opponent says goodbye. No more of that. No more. Ooh, weird hand. I mean, are we a priest deck or are we a priest deck? Let's go. Definitely flood potential. White. Probably the least played color right now. White aggro. Now I'm really confused. It's probably good for the priest though. They just don't have good removal in white. Conclave Tribunal and Prison Realm are your best bets. They're a little bit slow compared to what the format is up to. No attack. Kind of surprised. Alright. Here's my priest. Let's worship. Let's get it worshiping. Azad Marshal. Yeah, this looks like an old school white deck, but they can't remove the priest yet. And this Mayhem Devil is about to clean things up a bit. Alright, hit him. These two. See a Mayhem Devil, but we have to use the first one here to do some, like I said, clean up the board some. So you dead, you dead. Sacrifice a thingy. Probably your Tithe Taker, I'm guessing. Because you get a spirit. I draw. Make 2 mana. Let's use that to play Other Priest. Oh yeah. This is... So, losing the Devil is unfortunate. I wish I had a better way. I could have sacked second Priest, but then we wouldn't have killed the things, and the opponent might have been able to play Venerated Loxodons and get things out of hand. But the opponent doesn't want to sacrifice things anymore, even though they have pretty good sacrifice fodder. And we were flooding a little, but the opponent is not, they're off it. They are off it. Got 2 of those Drakes in a row. What's up with the rewards? I hope you enjoyed this video with the Rakdos, Aristocrats, Sacrifice, Judith Priest, whatever you want to call it, deck. We finally got to do some nonsense with Priest of the Forgotten Gods. We had some lopsided games and in both directions. Took some big losses, took some big wins. The deck certainly is powerful, but I feel far from unbeatable. And particularly getting worked by that black mid-range deck gave me hope that maybe that black mid-range deck could have a place in the meta if this becomes popular. Still, love the deck, very fun to play. If Rakdos is in your blood, by all means, go tear it up. Thank you for watching this video. Please consider liking and subscribing to help support the channel. You can also join a membership of $4.99 a month. You get a video every day as well as some bonus videos, and it helps me commit my time to full-time MTG. And one more time, thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.